I haven't washed my face today. I was crying. And it's funny when you cry, it makes your eyes look lighter, right? So let's get to why I was crying. Not a big deal at all. First of all, I am so happy. I am so grateful for my life. I am so grateful for the shelter that I have, for the love that I have, for the food that I have, for the money that I have, for the clean clothes that I have, for the puppy that I have, for the love that I have. I'm incessantly grateful for everything in my life, everything I have, everything I do not have. And that gratitude keeps growing. And that's all I can say. And that gratitude is infused in every word that comes out of my mouth and is the sole fuel, fire, intention of any of these videos. So I wanted to talk about a guy that's kind of sexy that moved into my building, which I haven't thought of a guy like that in a while. And this is going to go under PTSD. So, I don't know. Here's literally my hair. I don't know. But anyway, my girlfriend from France was like, Ashley, barrettes. And I was like, okay, copy that. But like, what the fuck do you do with the barrettes? So this guy's like the first guy in like a long time that I've given a shit about. Not given a shit about. I don't give a shit about him. As a human, yes. As a potential anything, no. So he moved into my building. I met him yesterday because the lady that works in the front office goes, Ashley, meet blank. And he's like this very sexy African-American man and a Black American brown-skinned gentleman, really sexy dark-skinned man, whatever he wants to classify himself as, I am in. Okay, so this has to do with PTSD, but also like all of a sudden I'm a giggly little girl. Let me get to the PTSD part. So I saw him yesterday when I was checking my mail, and the office lady, I guess he just moved in, was like signing some last paperwork. And the office lady goes, Ashley, meet blank. Just me talking to window. Ashley, meet blank. And I was like, hey. And then she goes, and I've never seen her like this. Straight up. Never seen her like this. He's so cute. And I was like, he's the guy who knows it. You know what I mean? So then I saw him walking my dog this morning at the worst possible time. You know when like you're training a puppy? Yeah, I'm just doing everything right now. You know when you're training a puppy during social distancing? No? I'll try training a puppy during social distancing. Not only that, oh thank goodness. Not only that, a German Shepherd, Husky, whatever my beautiful little pumpkin is. It's like 7, 8 a.m. Of course I have my vape. Like I said, I smoke my pot before coffee. If coffee was brought to me first, I might have a sip first, but otherwise I have to get up and make my coffee myself, guys, and that requires marijuana. So, but my first walks in the morning with my baby, who's still learning to pee and poo outside, are like not walks anyone's supposed to know about. No, I'm just kidding. But not sure if he knows that. I hope he doesn't follow me on Instagram or YouTube. So I'm crying because tomorrow's Mother's Day and whatever bullshit about my mom. But So I don't do this all the time, guys, but I had like a loogie, you know, one that you're not gonna swallow, and I didn't have a bag to put it in, and so I spit it on the floor, and I felt horrible. Okay, as I spit on the floor and was like looking at what colors it was. Hey, Ash. No, don't be Justin. Don't be Jeffrey from last night that I only met because he just moved in and the lady introduced us. Yes, it's blank Jeffrey from last night. And we ended up like talking for like a half hour. What came up was, this is the PTSD part, what came up was what's going on in the planet right now. And last night, it was so funny because I don't know if this is happening to other people. I'm sure it is. And in Venice, for sure. We're like, hey, what's up? So what do you think about it's like basically no small talk. That's what I love about Venice. There's no small talk. There's no bullshit. Like, are you wearing a mask? Okay, like, where are you watching your news? What's going on? What do you know that I might not know? How can we keep each other safe in Venice? It's like me. Like, I mean, what I mean when I say it's like me, it feels like my vibe. Like, whenever I go out, I'm like, can I be of service to anyone that's not scaring me? And the only people that scare me are people that trigger me through PTSD. Like, if you guys walking too fast and not wearing your shoes or some shit, that scares me. I'm not judging not wearing shoes. I'm just saying if you're walking too fast, you look hungry, and by myself, that's just my trigger response to PTSD. It's not anything to do with that guy. And if I could safely help him, if I could feel safe and regulate my own physiological responses, which I talked about with trigger responses, after a certain point they're activated and you can't, I would help him if I wasn't having issues trying to regulate my breathing. Okay, so that would be an isolated incident, and I hope that we're all staying what's sort of like on my brain train, because I've stayed on it. So we're talking about the world and like how everything's happening, and I feel like it's such a perfect analogy for post-traumatic stress disorder. Like, I feel like everyone on this globe either has or can absolutely relate to post-traumatic stress disorder, because we've all, over the last 6 weeks, slowly but surely been desensitized week by week with different shit. That's not me a happy cry. My dad always told me not to cry. Stop crying. I'd be like, I'm trying. I said, I have post-traumatic stress disorder. I feel like I'm uniquely, this is, again, my conversation with the sexy man that just moved in. And I said, I feel like if I didn't, I would be so much more freaked out about the situation. And he's like, immediately, he didn't mean it. This is what I'm talking about. And I want to show it to him one day if we ever talk, whatever. He didn't mean it or even understand that it could have meant anything to me. And just because I know what it is, I didn't take offense. I was actually happy that because I mention that I was in war, that he would assume for some reason it was less debilitating. I got PTSD. If I didn't, this whole situation over the last 6 weeks would probably freak me out so much more. I can't imagine what America's going through, etc. Something like this. And he goes, I have PTSD. I was in the military. And the tone he used, I forget which country, it was like, without even asking, which is like a weird question I mentioned in another video, what's your PTSD from? And then I did another video, a few videos on singular event, and then sustained event. So singular traumas that can cause post-traumatic stress disorder, and then sustained traumatic situations that a person is in, and that both of them have the ability, the potential, under circumstances that I'm making these videos, to try to increase circumstances that make them be less and less common. But the singular trauma and the sustained trauma. So the first thing he said was, without even really understanding what analogy I was making, so he's like this hot actor who's from like a southern state, you know what I mean? I can tell he's been here for he's been here for 5 years, he said, but here's what I'm talking about. So my analogy was, see, this is the kind of stuff, like, because I feel a little bit like the scared stuff, which I can't discount, is more intense than somebody would feel in Vietnam. But I can't imagine that because I wasn't there. But I can tell you how physiologically it felt. Basically, he was like, I know I was in Afghanistan. I don't remember if it was Afghanistan, but... And here's the thing. So many soldiers come back from war, I would say all with at least a degree of post-traumatic stress disorder or disruption in their lives post the trauma. And it's the best analogy that I can think of right now, the most accessible to the most people, in other words. By no means I'm gonna end it there for now. 333.